Hi everybody, welcome to All Games New and Old. I am David Rodriguez and today we're going to be reviewing 44 BCE. If you are watching this around the time when it comes out, which is late May 2022, this game is on Kickstarter right now for you to go check out and back if you think it sounds great to you. So this is designed by Holt Gray and Christian Forrest and is published by Gray Forest Games. Now this is a really it's a game with a lot of negotiation and backstabbing, but it definitely has a Euro vibe to it. So with that being said, we're going to go to our Euro game expert to tell us about the game. Oh, David, as much as I appreciate you trying your hand at Euro games, I think this one's a bit out of your league. I mean, you have to be good at tricking people. You have to be a good liar, and to be honest, I have trouble imagining you tricking anybody. What are you talking about? I'm a great liar. I can lie. I can trick anybody. I see, and how tall are you? 5'10". Okay, 5'9". 5'7.5". Oh, whatever. Let's go to our gameplay overview. Wow, I hate that guy. Alright, well, let's talk about the game. So, in 44 BCE, Julius Caesar has been assassinated. And now, various other important figures are vying to take control over Rome and become the emperor. So, the game is going to take place over 6 rounds, but in this game that counts as being 6 years. One player at any one time during the year is going to be the current Imperium Maius, and the other players are all going to be suitors trying to gain that position for themselves. Now, every year, you'll assess and see who is going to become it this year, who's going to retain that title through the next year. So in order to either maintain your title as Imperium Maius or to try to wrestle it away from the current one, you're going to be building your influence and power throughout Rome. So you're going to be doing that in a variety of ways. You're going to be building buildings, which will let you have powers during the rest of the round. You're also going to be gaining recruits that can help you. They may have ambition of their own, but you have the ability to hopefully get them some authority to actually get some changes made and get some influence for yourself.
And if you're one of the suitors, you're going to be trained to help each other out by kind of helping give some of that influence to be able to take the power away from the Imperium Maius. Because of that, there's a little bit of backstabbing because you do need to help each other to take that power away from the Imperium Maius, but then you also want to become the Imperium Maius yourself. So you want to be a little careful about helping out people too much. So, but you might really need their help. So until you put your resource tiles down to indicate that you are actually doing that, and when you do that, there's going to be a player screen up so that people won't know if you're actually following through with what you said you're going to be doing, or if you changed your mind or just flat out lied to them.
It's very sneaky.
So, there can be a lot of backstabbing, but you also can't really hold it personal because on the next round, you might have to work with that person again. So, it's kind of part of the game. So towards the end of the year, you'll find out if the Imperium Maius stays in control or if there's a new Imperium Maius for the following year. And at the end of the 6 years, the player that ends up collecting the most Imperium ends up being the ruler of Rome. For the artwork, I think they did a great job with the artwork and selecting the artwork. It looks like it's kind of like historical references to the time period. It looks like something that would be kind of in a museum representing this time period.
Yeah, that's really what I was thinking too. Like, almost like these pictures could have been, I don't think they were, but could have been actually taken from like classical works of art almost of the time period. That's kind of what they look like. I can't point you to a specific artist that it is most like because I just don't have that knowledge. But but it does look like that kind of art for sure, and it's very well done. Other than that, really, I think it's just really pretty. It's just the way the board itself looks. Like it has almost like it looks to me like almost like this purple marble kind of thing. Yeah. With like gold.
Yeah, it's very regal looking.
Yeah, absolutely. So it really, I don't know. I think it just really feels like it fits the whole theme, which is awesome. So, because this is a game that is coming to Kickstarter and is not in its final form yet, any of these components could technically change.
Yeah.
So, how we feel about them now, it could be a different bag when it comes out, but we get an idea of kind of where they're going, I think. So, I think everything we have here is really nicely done. The various tiles are super thick and chunky, they feel super solid.
Yeah, they don't even really need to be, especially the tiles for the Imperium Midas, they don't even need to be that chunky, so they could easily be just cards and work it just as well.
Yeah, they could for sure, but I kind of like the chunky tiles.
Yeah.
And for no other reason than I have trouble getting the little nice cards off of the board because I'm biting my nails. Anyway, but yeah, no, they're really cool. The cards to me, they feel like they're kind of thin. I don't know if I'm right about that.
They're definitely thinner than like a deck builder game card normally is, but at the same time, this isn't a deck builder, so you're not shuffling, so they don't really need to be thicker. The one aspect of the cards that I do have an issue with is the cards, the recruitment cards for the social status. It's the same background color as all the ambition squares, and so as we're playing it kind of messed up my thinking of what cards were representing which aspect a little bit. So if they either did a different color for the social background, or if the background of that ambition square was the same color as the border for the other two cards, it would help me out a little bit. Because there was a couple times where I got my social and political cards confused.
Yeah, and it's weird because on your individual player boards where you're going to be playing down your recruits when the time comes during the game, each one is labeled political, military, or social. And to me, the part where it's labeled social looks like it has a purple background. Whereas the other ones, are kind of red and white or gray, and they match the color of the cards, whereas that purple one doesn't. So I know purple, I guess in Rome, was still considered sort of a royal color. I don't know if that was the case there, or if I'm thinking of a different old-timey place. That might have been a different old-timey place. Regardless, though, I wish they would have gone with that for the border too. I think you're right, just to differentiate. It didn't throw me off too much, but I could definitely see where it could.
The other component that I actually really like in this game is the phase marker. It's like a Roman column that is kind of broken in half, but I think that's a really nice touch.
Yeah, really just, another little thing that adds a little bit to the theme through the components. So one component that I'm not sure that I like in its current form is the screens that you mentioned earlier. So when you're making your commitments for what you're going to do in the resolution phase, you're hiding that from the other people so they can't decide accordingly, oh, I see that person's going to screw me over. And the screens are a great idea. It's really cool, and they have a lot of good information on the inside about scoring and whatnot. But right now they're designed in such a way that they sort of tilt towards you. So the little flaps on the side are kind of
little angle.
Yeah, they're at an angle, which is fine. But I don't know. I don't personally like that. I feel like it's a little awkward. I'd rather them just be straight. Yeah,
I think it would be fine if you're playing on a big playing area. This game takes up a lot of room. So if you have a big gaming table, I think it's okay. But if you're playing on just a normal dining room table, that angled screen can kind of make it a little bit difficult because it's kind of encroaching on your player board and make it hard to see everything that you're trying to do. Yeah,
and also depending on where your lighting's coming from, it can be kind of dark then. If your lighting's coming from above or from the other side of you, then it's now you can't really see stuff as well because of how it's angled. But not a major thing at all, but just something to mention.
I think they did a really good job of incorporating the theme. There definitely is that fight for power, but because you're not in it's not a brawl fight. It's more gaining power. There's a lot more social aspects in the game, and I think they did a good job of incorporating that throughout.
Yeah, I really like how they use people who I at least believe are all actual historic figures. Brutus, Cleopatra, Agrippa, etc. Etc. is not one of the characters. I just can't remember the other two. But it's kind of because they're not. Look, I'm not a history buff. I don't know exactly how it all went down, but I don't think people were running around in an arena trying to stab each other to become emperor. They only stabbed Caesar, and that was it. And then the stabbing was less, but they backstab each other in different ways, and it's got this cool political intrigue thing where it's like, oh, of course I'll help you. I just need a little help on my side, but then one side or the other doesn't quite come through with their things, and you don't know until it's too late, and you're like, oh, damn it, you didn't help me. And I think that's a really neat aspect of it. It really just captures that feel of vying for power, where you have to be a little subtle and a little tricky, but also sometimes help the other person out so you can get things too. It's a careful balancing act where you don't want someone to so fully distrust you that they'll never help you, but you also sometimes are just going to have to backstab them. That's just got to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so final thoughts. So again, this is for a Kickstarter game. It is not out in its final form just yet, so any number of things could change between now and then. And because of that, we don't usually do a number score for these kind of games because it just doesn't seem really fair to give a hard, fast measurement of how we feel about a game when any number of aspects of this game could change.
Yeah, we score it more as who we think would back it and whether or not we would back the game.
Absolutely. So I think this is an excellently designed game. For one, I'm a big theme person. Mm-hmm. So, as we were talking about, the way they incorporated the theme, I think is fantastic. I think they really did a great job of that. And I actually kind of feel like I'm trying to do this schemy, backstab, try to get a little bit for myself thing as the game is going, which is pretty cool. I don't know, did you feel like, I don't know, so you're not as much of a theme person, so did you feel like you were in that thing too? Or
no, I think they did a good job of incorporating the theme, so it does put you into the mindset of that time period and what the aspect that you're trying to, the goal that you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. So this game plays from 2 to 5 players, and I think it functions okay at 2 players, but I feel like at that player count, you're missing out on what the true meat of the game is. I think even though there's a lot of good mechanics at work here, I think the biggest part is the negotiation and trying to trick each other and trying to convince each other to help out here and there. And you just obviously can't have that in a 2-player game. When you're playing 2 players, you still have 3 characters, but basically whoever is not the Imperium Maius, that person will have their own character, and then there's a shared suitor as well. And so when that person who was the suitor becomes the Imperium Maius, then the person who's now the suitor gets that shared suitor. So it just goes back and forth, and it's just a little different, and I feel like it's missing out on what I personally feel is the true focus of this game.
I definitely miss out on a core aspect of the game when you're playing 2 players.
Yeah. That being said, it does work. I think there will be people who really like playing that way, but I could just tell that there's something that you miss when you're doing that.
I also don't think it's a good way to learn how to play the game doing 2 players because when you're playing both players, it makes it very difficult to learn the game because not only because you're still trying to figure out what you need to do, but then now you also have this other character that you have to figure out how to do and how to make it so that they're going to help you but not take away points from you. And then also whatever you leave behind on that character, if you do become the Imperium Maius, now your opponent has those things that you left on that player. So there's a lot more aspects to keep track of and to think about rather than as you're learning a new game that has a lot of new vocabulary and stuff like that. So I think it makes it a lot harder to learn the game than if you just have to worry about your own player board.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. But let's kind of talk about learning the game in general. So this is an area that, well, I don't know if I'd say it's dinging it, but it's something to be aware of. So generally when we play games, I'm the one who learns the game and then I teach it to her and whoever else we're playing with, and then we play. And this is going to sound kind of strange. Like, I don't feel like this is an incredibly complicated game, but I think it feels much more complicated to learn than it needs to, because there is a lot of new vocabulary in this game. Like, I think the rulebook is written just fine. Like, it explains things, there's examples, that's great. But, just as the example where your victory points are victory points, they're Imperium, that's cool, and it's very thematic, and I get it. But I had to watch a couple different how to play videos and read the rules twice. And even then, trying to teach it, I had to look up some stuff. So in addition to, you're reading the rules and it's like, well, so-and-so has their Praetor and this person has his Equus. And I'm like, okay. And it makes sense because those are the names of the cards. I get it. But like, there's a lot of things like that where it's just like, oh my goodness, this is like I would be reading and then be like, okay, wait, what just happened? Like, who did this? And, it is explained okay, but it is tough with all that vocabulary. And then trying to teach it to someone who is not going to sit there and watch 2 videos and read the rulebook twice. Now, like, they're trying to learn on the spot to this game, and they're trying to learn the vocabulary as I do it. So it's like, do I just ignore the vocabulary and say, well, this is the victory points? Or do I say, this is the victory points, but in this game we call it Imperium, because now it's like even more stuff coming in. I think it makes this game feel like it's a much bigger bear of a thing than I think it actually is. But you were on the learning end, so you tell me what you thought about that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think for people that are good about picking up language, I think it won't be too much of an issue. I've brought this up in other reviews, but I'm dyslexic, and so learning new vocabulary is very difficult for me. And so trying to learn all of these different vocabularies on top of learning a new game was really, really difficult for me. And so it made it feel like, even like throughout almost the entire game, I felt like I didn't really know what I was doing because I kept having to try and remember what things were called. And it kind of took me out of the game as well. And just like it gave me more frustration than enjoyment in the game.
Yeah, I feel like this is the kind of game that whoever is going to get it and learn it needs to get as close to having it all down as you can. I mean, I didn't have it as perfect as I would have liked to when I started trying to teach it, but do that, and then whoever you're playing with, say, like, okay, we're going to start going through this, and we're going to work through it so you can see how everything goes, and then, maybe either keep playing from there or start over now that you kind of understand the flow of it, because I just feel like it's a lot to take in otherwise. So, I mean, that would be kind of my advice as far as that goes. And like I said, that's the only thing I'd really dig in on. And I appreciate that they're trying to keep it really thematic. Like, I understand why it's done this way. And in some ways it's good. It's just that it just makes it tougher to learn. It just does. Then there's the aspect, I think, that, because of the nature of this game, because it is so much about tricking each other. Like, I don't think you can play it full honest all the time and do well. Or even if everyone did, I feel like I don't think the game would feel like it's supposed to feel.
Yeah, I think it would change the feel. And then, like, just because of the mechanics of the game and, like, having Imperium Midas, that title that you're trying to take away from someone, there's going to be people that just don't like that. It's definitely not co-op, but even your competitive games, like it's, a lot of competitive games are a little bit more head to head, where because this game also has the social aspect of it, a lot of the people in our gaming circle are not going to like this game because of that.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound like I'm knocking it for these facts. Like, this is something that some people thrive on, that they love in every game.
Yeah, and we have a few friends that, like, they would be all over this game.
Oh yeah, they will make this playtime 6 hours because they'll spend I'm not even joking, because they'll spend so much time negotiating, for sure. And they will, I think, absolutely go nuts over this game. Absolutely. But it is, like, we also have on the other side of the spectrum, we have friends who can't stand any kind of trader element. And like, I'm talking about the games where, like, Dead of Winter or Battlestar Galactica, where you get a card saying your role that the game is telling you is you're the traitor.
Yeah.
This game, you're going to be choosing to betray people every time you do it. Every time you lie, it's because you made that choice that you're going to screw someone over. So, like, people who cannot stand the idea of playing diplomacy are not going to like this game just because it's short. It is shorter, which is great. But it's the same kind of situation.
Yeah.
You have to, at some point, lie straight face to someone and hope they believe it to get ahead. And that person's probably your friend, maybe your wife or husband. You know? And that can be pretty rough. Some people are really going to react badly to that. This is the kind of game I feel like, if enough people play it, it could become a notorious friendship killer or table flipping kind of game where someone just gets fed up with it. And again, I feel like it sounds like I'm knocking it for that. And I'm really not. Because again, some people love that.
Yeah, it's part of the game. It's just something to keep in mind that, keep in mind the people that you normally play with or your gaming circle. Yeah,
don't... I wouldn't just bring this and start playing it and like surprise people with the fact that they're going to be lying. Like say, hey, do you want to play a game where this is a major, major aspect of what this game is? And if so, if they sound like they're into it, I think they're going to absolutely love this game. You just have to, the whole like symbol has got a big dagger on it. Like they're not hiding that that's what this game is about, but that is what it is.
The whole game is based off of the ultimate backstab.
I know, isn't that crazy? Such a major historical event, and all we got out of it was a salad. Ridiculous. But, a salad, and now this game. So, there's that. So, anyway, I don't know. I think we've pretty much covered everything. Do you have any other thoughts on this that I may be forgetting here?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that this will be a great game for. I think for us, it's not a great game because of our playing circle. But there's definitely going to be a lot of people out there that will like this game.
Yeah, and I would definitely play it. Like I don't mind those aspects very much. But yeah, it is more a matter of the people we play with. It's going to be harder for us to get this one to the table. But if our circle changes at some point, maybe that'll be different. But you don't tend to like the traitor and that kind of aspect.
I'll play a little bit of betrayers, but this I don't like the straight up lying. So this isn't really a game that I would pick to choose or pick to play.
Yeah, so whereas I kind of like it, but I also am really, really bad at it. So it's like, I'll enjoy it, but
I'll help you week.
It's like, I'm not lying. You can tell because I said so. That'd be my method. I don't have the skills. So anyway, that's our thought on this game. It's just one of those things. If you like that kind of game, I think you're going to love this game. And if you don't, you probably know that about yourself, and it's just not the game for you.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes. So anyway, I hope this review has been useful to you. If it has, please hit like and subscribe and click the little bell icon so you can know about the next time we put out a video. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you all around the table again at All Games New and Old.
Bye. Feels like your TDA games.
I'm just bad at remembering. I can remember through the teach and then it's gone. It's like the same tactic I had when I took tests in high school. Like, I learned it for the test. And now that information's nowhere to be found. That's how it is when I teach games. I can't help it. I can't. That's how my brain is, honey. I'm sorry. I can all retain it for a little bit of time. It's like a colander. Like, it's quickly draining out. I have to utilize. Anyway. Now, the games take... Okay. Now, the gameplay... No. I looked over here. No. Like, that's your fault. Corner of the light. I don't know what's happening. Okay. Wow, I hate that guy. Alright. Well, let's talk about the gameplay. So, this takes place after Julius Caesar was assassinated in 44. Well, no, stop it, Dave. I don't know if that's when it actually took place or if that's when the game ends. Anyway, okay. H2O. If you enjoyed that video, you might also like this one.
Or this one.
Either way, if you could click this button to subscribe so you can see more of our stuff when it comes out.
We'll see you around the table.
Bye.
Bye.